Due to his morganatic marriage and his forward-thinking views, Archduke Franz Ferdinand was very unpopular with many of Emperor Franz Joseph's ministers, and the feeling was certainly mutual. Consequently, the Archduke spent as much time as possible away from the court, and he formed his own circle of friends who supported his plans to bring about many changes to Austria-Hungary once he became emperor. Aware that the empire was ill-prepared for war, he was eager to maintain peace in Europe by forming stronger ties with Russia. Only a week before his murder, he was paid an informal visit by Kaiser Wilhelm, who agreed to this plan, which was totally at odds with the views of many senior ministers and bankers and industrialists who were desperately seeking an excuse to invade Serbia, which would almost inevitably lead to war with Russia. It was also widely known that Franz Ferdinand had already drawn up lists of ministers who would replace the present incumbents, and he had stated that he would refuse to be crowned King of Hungary until a fair system of suffrage was implemented. Naturally, the possibility of his becoming emperor gave rise to a good deal of anxiety among the ministers, and that anxiety was surely heightened in the winter of 1913 to 1914, when his aged great-uncle, Emperor Franz Joseph, suffered a serious and potentially fatal bout of bronchitis. It was during this time that the Archduke received an invitation to review the troops in Sarajevo, Bosnia, a territory annexed by Austria in 1908, the following June. And to add an extra incentive, the invitation was extended to his wife, who until then had been frequently humiliated and snubbed due to her lowly origins. This was the Archduke's first opportunity to attend an official public engagement with his beloved Sophie, and by coincidence or design, it was set to take place on their 14th wedding anniversary. The date, the 28th of June, also coincided with a Serbian national holiday, so the arrival of the heir to the Austrian throne would almost certainly arouse antipathy among the Serbs. In the days leading up to the visit, Franz Ferdinand stated many times that he suspected he was about to be murdered, probably by Freemasons. Nonetheless, he and Sophie travelled to Sarajevo and received a warm welcome from the crowds, until an unsuccessful assassination attempt disrupted the plan. Franz Ferdinand and Sophie decided to visit the wounded in hospital before leaving the city, but strangely, considering the tension in the city and the possibility of further attacks, they were again driven in an open car with no armed escort or military presence, allowing Gavrilo Princip to step out from the edge of the road and fire point-blank at his victims. Sophie slumped to the floor of the vehicle as her husband murmured, little Sophie, you have to live for the children." But she was already dead. Franz Ferdinand, who had been shot in the neck, died on his way to the hospital. The crime was said to be the work of the Black Hand, a Serbian terrorist group. However, I have yet to discover any other successful terrorist activities carried out by this group. Moreover, it was said to comprise senior military and political figures. Why then would they employ a tubercular boy who had never fired a pistol before for so important a task? History is filled with patsies, and I strongly suspect that Gavrilo Princip was one of them.